The South African National Defence Force says it will establish its own internal disaster management and response unit to help provide adequate response to disasters countrywide. The government declared a national state of disaster over the energy crisis and ongoing floods in 7 provinces. This puts the army at the centre of responding to these disasters, but the availability of resources remains a major challenge. The chief of the South African National Defence Force, General Rudzani Maphwanya, says soldiers are already responding to flood victims in affected provinces while safeguarding Eskom's infrastructure. He briefed the media during the official launch of the Armed Forces Day commemoration in Richards Bay, KwaZulu-Natal. eNCA's Siphamandla Goge reports.
The South African National Defence Force has been given its marching orders following the declaration of a national state of disaster over the energy crisis and recent floods across the country. With limited human, technological and financial resources at its disposal, the last line of defence now wants its own well-resourced internal disaster unit.
The boats and the aircrafts that I take to go and respond to disaster are the boats and the aircrafts that are meant for warfighting. So we want to have a dedicated team that we will resource to deal primarily with disaster when and if we are required to respond to disaster. I think in that way we will not be doing a disservice both to ourselves and to the country.
But what is the Army's role in the national state of disaster over the energy crisis?
We have given our inputs as to how the National Defence Force will also assist whilst we are dealing with the issue of the energy crisis. We have started in a very small way to ensure that we safeguard our power stations. We have deployed entities to ensure that the challenges that they were facing in terms of pilfering, as well as other elements that subvert our energy security, is taken care of. We have put in also the engineers to assist in one way or another in trying to rehabilitate some of our power stations.
The armies defended its decision to hold military drills with the Russians amid the ongoing war in Ukraine. Officials say it has had military drills with other nations before without any controversy.
It was around here in Richards Bay, and we had that one with the United States. And in November we had an exercise with France. And this time around we're going to have an exercise with Russia. And the reason for this, it's because we are exercising ourselves. We want to learn from others. We want to gain experience in as much as they will have to gain experience from ourselves. So that is the purpose.
The South African Navy has also confirmed the relocation of its naval base in Durban to Richards Bay as the Durban port is set for expansion.
We anticipate a period of plus minus 5 years to have this naval base fully fledged built. But that is also, as you can see, this region is actually baptized by lots of rains. So take into consideration that with such amounts of rain, those can also affect the building progress. But in terms of our discussions with department, with TNPA, we expect that from the day that the first brick is being laid, we'll be able to finish the construction of this base within 5 years.
The Commander-in-Chief of all the Armed Forces, President Cyril Ramaphosa, is set to address the Armed Forces Day commemoration event in Richards Bay next week. Siphamandla Goge, Richards Bay, KwaZulu-Natal.